Hi, today I'm going to be demonstrating how to play the game called chess. Chess consists of a chessboard, 32 chess pieces, 16 for each person. The game of chess is played between two people, and the object of the game of chess is to trap your opponent's most important piece, which is the king. And the king is the piece that you want to protect during the whole game, and they call it checkmate when you trap your opponent's king, which checkmate means you win. Now, first, today I'm going to talk about the movements of each piece in chess. Now, up front, your front row, the little piece called the pawn, it's very limited in its movement. It can move in one direction, and that is forward and one space. It can move up once, forward. They're the pieces that really start the game out. Next, the piece that I'm going to talk about is this piece called a rook. A rook is a piece, you have two rooks, and they're on each end of your board, and it can move in four directions. It can move up, down, left, right, and it can move as far as it wants. So say I was down here, I can move all the way down there to take one of my opponent's pieces. Now this piece is a little bit different. This is a knight. A knight has a very strange move. It moves in an L-shaped direction, which means it can move in a lot of ways. It can move up twice over to the left once, or up twice over to the right once, or back twice over to the left once, or back twice over to the right once, or up once over to the left twice, or up once over to the right twice, and so on. Next, this piece is called the bishop. The bishop is a really neat piece because it moves, it's one of the few pieces that move diagonally. It can move diagonally to the left as far over as it wants to. It can move diagonally to the right as far as it wants to, or diagonally backwards to the left, or diagonally backwards to the right, which is good because it can go far by getting one of your opponent's pieces. Now, your best piece for attacking your opponent's pieces is the queen. The queen is the piece that can move basically wherever it wants, whenever it wants. A queen can move in four directions. It can move up, it can move down, it can move left, it can move right, it can move diagonally left, diagonally right. It can take out any piece at once. And the queen, when it starts out, it's always by the king. And like I mentioned earlier, the most important piece is your king, and your king, it's very limited, just like a pawn. A king has basically one move in any direction. It can move left, it can move right, it can move up, it can move down, but it can only move one space. So it's very important to protect your king. Now I'm going to show you a couple maneuvers or a couple moves that you can set up which puts your opponent's king in checkmate, or which I call the end of the game winning. Now say your opponent's king was right here, and you've got your queen. You move your queen out, and you move your queen right beside your opponent's king. Now in this situation, your opponent's king has to move out of checkmate, because right now, my piece, the tan queen, I just put my opponent's king in checkmate, which means the game's going to be over, but he has to move his king. Now if he moved his king right here, he's still in checkmate because my queen is still right beside it. Now if he moved right to that space, he's still in checkmate because my queen is in line with him, and my queen can move in any direction. Now say if he were to move right here, he'd be safe for now, because he just moved out of the direction of my queen, so my queen could move over and keep putting him in checkmate. And eventually they call it checkmate, and if you're in a stall, if you come down to two kings, that's called stalemate. So in conclusion, chess is a very fun game to play, and I hope that this demonstration will make you want to learn how to play the game of chess.